It's a story about a young Anglo-Irish officer serving in an English infantry regiment who embarks for the Crimea and sees the hideous fighting of battles of the Alma, Balaclava and Inkerman before being wounded and then coming back to fight in the Battle of the Quarries. It's underpinned by the true story of the unfortunate love affair of this young man, not with his chambermaid from Ireland, who's so in love with the man that she decides to go to the Crimea with him via marrying his batman. So there's one or two slightly difficult moments, as you can imagine. Officer and batman both serving together, sharing the same wife and lover, who eventually finds herself at the end of the novel unfortunately pregnant. I've been researching the novel since I was 7 years old. I first wrote a book. My first attempt to write a book on the Crimea was when I was 7. I still got it somewhere, which didn't mention anything to do with cavalrymen or nurses, but was actually about the reality of the war. And actually, I looked at it the other day. It's not too bad. Very interested in the campaign, always have been, and very interested in the characters. And I've been exposed to one or two of certainly not necessarily well-known individuals inside the war, but people who saw some extremely difficult, dangerous, and arduous fighting, but at the same time had to endure a campaign that was physically particularly hard and enduringly frightening for those who were involved. The research has involved my regimental research into diaries and books, and also extensive travelling inside the modern Ukraine, down into the Crimea and onto the battlefields. The battlefields themselves are extraordinary, the more obscure ones. Battlefield of Inkerman, for instance, you can still find bones and bullets, regimental buttons, remnants of very, very serious fighting. One of the observations that's been made about the book, about writing about a campaign, is that a number of people said, yes, but what's the background to all this? What's the strategy? What are the politics? What are the statesmen up to? Well, the private soldier, the lance corporal and the subaltern didn't give a good goddamn what was going on out there. My own service, I remember thinking, the battalion has had an extremely quiet tour in West Belfast, South America. One tour we had 5 men killed, but they didn't come from my company or my platoon. So as far as I was concerned, it was a quiet tour. I had no idea of the name of the brigade commander or what division I belonged to. Why would you? And I think what I'm trying to get at with this book is the bubble in which a regimental officer, regimental non-commissioned officers, in which they live, endure, fight, and eventually triumph. Now, I don't think that changes. I strongly suspect that comradeship, loyalty, boredom, and above all else fear probably don't change, that the same sort of things were being said at Waterloo and Inkerman, were being said in Basra and Helmand today. What I've tried to achieve with this, of course, is to make the history as accessible as possible. It's my passion, clearly, but I hope that readers will find this a real page-turner. You've got the lot, stacks of fighting, stacks of sex, well, perhaps not stacks, but anyway, enough in there, a love interest, a pretty convoluted love interest, real baddies, real goodies, and stacks of action.